It was a lot of fun. These camps are great. It gives us a chance to kind of check in on guys that we have been interested in, for years since coming out of college, and just tracking them from afar. It gets a chance to bring them back in and see how they're doing and see what kind of progress they've made, and if they're, closer to getting to the league.
Is the focus here pretty wide, like summer league's coming up, but also camp, the introduction of two ways? Are you guys kind of just looking all over the place?
Yeah, I think this is a pretty important summer to kind of hold a camp like this and approach it kind of from all angles of summer league, two ways, like guaranteed contracts, everything. Just because we brought in a pretty high level of talent to where, I mean, some of these guys may even be above some of those opportunities. So it's really our roster situation is kind of dictating positionally and different ways of the level of the guys that we're looking at, and I think that it's gonna be a pretty fruitful, a good reason why we're holding this camp, I should say.
Jenkins was saying he's one of the older guys here. Is it interesting for you guys when you have such a wide range of ages and experience of everything like this? Like, can you tell the difference when you've got a guy that?
I think most of these guys, regardless of age, that they're 2 to 3 years out of college or more, to where now they've all kind of, whether it's maturing or just kind of learning the professional game, and kind of they've all kind of reached a point in their career where they know what teams are looking for and what they can do better to kind of get to the league and stick in the league. And yeah, I think that's kind of the beauty of these camps is most players have kind of had an awakening in their career where maybe it's positionally or style of play or whatnot to okay, now what do they have to display to really like catch a team's eye, and so you get guys in here really showing us what their true impact on the game is, whereas before, when they're coming out of college, a lot of these guys, they don't even know who they are as a player or what they can do, or it's kind of just a stage later that it's really helpful.
I was going to ask you, on the heels of all the draft workouts, does seeing these guys, a year, 2, 4 years later, remind you about like where the people you just worked out are kind of in the process?
Absolutely. I mean, we were having a conversation, minutes ago about the guys that were sitting in the draft room discussing, like, how would they fare in a setting like this? Yeah. Like, are they guys that could even? Because I mean, it's interesting when you're looking at draft prospects. A lot of the guys they wouldn't be able to do overly well in a situation like this, just because of the these are grown men that are they're mature and they know how to play professional basketball, and even though the draft prospects might have a higher ceiling, longer road to becoming a better player, you kind of compare them side by side, and you can see how some of these guys might fit against some of the draft guys you're looking at, and maybe it changes the way that you draft if you see something here that really interests you, and you can bring a guy in via a different route.
What changed for a guy like Jenkins? He's been doing these for a while now. You've never had him in, but you bring him in this year. Why this year for a guy like him?
I just think he's been around the league so often that we know him pretty well, and in the D League again, he played extremely well this year. He's one of those guys that he's so close to sticking and being a rotation guy in the NBA just because of what he does and how he affects the game, that it's always good to guys that are that close. It's good to bring them in and get to know them a little closer and see what they can do, and honestly just to get as comfortable with as many of those on the cusp players as we can. I think he's probably on the higher end of this group of players that we're looking at in terms of right there.